what's some things entrepreneurs or people and ladies in general we need to be looking out for that you like, damn, I wish I would have saw this bump in the road? Or is there anything like that maybe on the financial side that we need to be looking out for, or in whatever side? I don't know if y'all got anything that y'all maybe have went through that you like, I don't want nobody to have to go through this.
Nobody ever talks about the doubts, worries, and fears that come with making money. Because when I grew up in a 2-parent household and we were okay, but I was making more money than both my parents when I was in my early 20s. Mm-hmm. But we never struggled, but I've been kicked out of places before building a business. And so I technically suffer PTSD because I'm afraid of not having, because I know what it feels like to not have. And the more you accumulate, if you've never had it, you're not solely familiar with it or identify with wealth, right? And so I think for me, but even though I saw it, as I started to make money, I wanted to make sure I never lost it. And even no matter if it's $1 million or 10,000 or 100,000, whatever, I think I went through a phase of life where you got to recognize making money sometimes is connected to trauma because you're so accustomed to not having money.
Yeah. I'll say one of the things, when you start making money, a lot of times you make poor decisions with the money, right? Yeah. Especially when you're not accustomed.
I've been there.
Yeah, when you're not accustomed to having it, and like the household I grew up in, we were fine. My parents did very well financially, so we didn't grow up poor. I didn't want for anything, it was not that type of situation. But of course, the money that we made was different than the money my parents made. Like my mom was making 6 figures a year, and back in the 80s and 90s, that's a lot of freaking money, right?
That's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. It's crazy, right? We can live very, very well. But now 6 figures a year, it's like, okay, you can live decently, sure. But the thing is that what does money look like? Mm-hmm. We have this stigma, especially in our community, where we feel like if you're not driving a certain type of vehicle, if you're not wearing a certain type of brand, then that means that you haven't made it. And I think that's a pitfall that we fall into, where we don't take those resources and put them in places that can generate more money for us.
Right.
Facts. And so that's one of the things, one of the biggest mistakes I made is that when I was making like crazy amounts of money, I was shopping, right? Just shopping. And I'm like, it's not taking anything away. Everything's still paid. We're still saving. We can still travel. We're still investing. We're still doing these things. But I'm just buying all this stuff. And
I was the complete opposite. I was so afraid to not have any more money that I was like a hoarder. I got to a point where it's like, you could save, but you won't go shopping, or you could spend all the money, and like either both people have something they got to work on. And it was like I had to literally. I remember I went to Phipps one time. We had like just made the most money we ever made in like a month, and I'm like, "Go ahead, Ashley, go shopping." And it was I feel like probably $13,000, and it was so easy for me to spend, but it was like I was so afraid to spend the money because I was so afraid to lose it because I was never used to having it. Yeah. And it's so funny. I literally I won't even spend. Like I had to like challenge myself to go buy some shoes, Ashley.
Right. Yeah, but that our community is like really, really heavy on, because people who haven't made it, so to speak, who have no business walking around with a $2,000 handbag, walking around with a $2,000, because in their mind that puts the optic out there that they've got something. And we need to move away from that and really start taking our resources and putting it into places that can generate more money. Where we can have trust funds for our children, set it up the way other nationalities set up for their children, generational wealth for the family, the members they'll never ever meet, right?
I've had the privilege to help hundreds and hundreds of people all around the world open up their own profitable event spaces, utilizing my signature formula. Number 1, how to find a space. Number 2, how to fund the space, and how to automate the space. I've been in Atlanta, Georgia now living for 2 years. My spaces are still in Philadelphia operating, doing extremely well because we use the same exact formula that I break down, right? If you're interested in learning how we can help you, I want you to go to eventsspacesecrets.com, watch a training, or book a call with our team to see if you are a good fit. Again, this is for you specifically if you're looking for other ways to leverage your money and turn that into other streams of income, right? I don't believe there's a better time than right now for you to get tapped into the information in the game that can help you. So again, go to eventsspacesecrets.com, watch the training, or book a call with our team to see if you're a good fit for this opportunity. Let's go.
But we have this stigma of if you don't drive a certain vehicle, if you don't wear a designer, if you just don't have these things, that are you really making money?
Right.
And it sucks that it's set up that way, but we have to move away from that.
Crazy.
And it's one of the pitfalls that I see all the time. And it's like, if I could do it all over again, it's so many things. Once we were robbed, and this is probably the first time I ever said this publicly, when our house was broken into and they cleared my closet out, it was like, I have spent all this money on all these material things. Some of the things I can't replace because they'll never make them again.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, dang, I've wasted so much money. I could have taken that money and invested it here and there and had something to show for it, versus now someone's broken into my home and stolen these things from me and I can't replace them.
Yeah.
Nor do I want to anymore. But it made me have a different mindset of money and what we should do with money. It's nothing wrong with living well. It's nothing wrong with having a nice thing that you like. But when you think that mentally, that means that you've arrived based off of the material things that you can show to the world, that's a problem.
It is.
And I see it all the time. I know we all do, sitting on this couch. We see it all the time. And we really just, as a people, need to move away from that stigma. That means absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Right
but
about
take that money and start creating a generational wealth. I wish we had bought certain homes when the market was crazy and you could buy a home for $15,000. You know, I wish.
I was talking about the other day. Me and my man used to go to the auction. Cribs was like a grand.
Yeah.
5,000. In Philly, you know, we used to go to auction at 38th and Market. And they had cribs that like stay, or like people passed on them, $1,000 homes. I'm like, what a time.
Exactly.
And
I think we could do both.
Yeah.
I think like we like shiny things. I like nice things. It's just, I always tell people, you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it. But one thing that I do is like, okay, you could go spend a couple $1,000s here. Make sure you put a couple $1,000s here. You invest
it's
it back.
It's when it defines you. That's the
right,
issue.
right.
There's nothing wrong with having nice things, having a nice home, driving a nice car. All of those things are well and good, but you also have to have other things on the back end set up too. That can't be what you want the world to see you as, and that means that you're doing something.
Because you can't cash in on a pocketbook.
No.
Like that joint don't give you no return unless it's a certain bag. But no one's buying them like, well, this is going to give me a return in a couple. I think you said something. I think that plagues a lot of us though. And another one is living above our means. That crap will get you out of here. Like
You could do that in business too. I found myself, because I know I'm capable of making money, sometimes I feel like, I think you're spending too much because everything is an investment in my business. And it's like, I can go make it back. I done made it before, I could do this again. This is because it gets to a certain point too where certain expenses don't seem like a lot of money. But when you look at the numbers, it adds. I remember I was talking about, I was in my accountant, it's like, this how much we spend every month. But it's like, you know, 2,000-3,000 here. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's like, well, I could go make it. And it's just like, I think for me personally, even being in finance, it's like, it's different learning how to invest, and it's a different managing money for a business. And I'm not in a position yet where I now see it, but like where I see why a CFO is somebody you need to hire, because it's sometimes challenging for me to let me sit down and manage the money and make sure we're on track. Because your accountant's job is not to be a CFO, which I've learned. You need somebody to be a CFO and somebody to help you avoid taxes and manage your taxes. But sometimes your ability to create money leads with your ability to invest money back into your business when you got to properly manage it. And I know I didn't learn that in college, but learning how to properly manage money and hire the right people to help you manage, one that you can trust, but also somebody that's actually skilled at what you do. Because in my mind, I can make millions of dollars, but I can spend millions of dollars in my business at the same time.